Welcome, football fans, and thank you for tuning in to the USFL Network. I am your host, Hype, at USFL Network on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. We are trying out TikTok. Why not? We are live across Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe on all platforms. Search USFL Network, all one word, no spaces. We are partnered with RoyalRetros.com. Ace, thank you for pointing that out. If you're looking for the hottest throwbacks, the king of retro, they have got your back. They've got you covered on all things USFL retro and much more. Enter promo code USFL Network at checkout for 10% off your entire order. So give them a check them out, and I mean they got it all. So really quick, a huge shout out to Zach from the Gridiron Gallery podcast. He's got my vote for the national anthem game one opener. Go check it out on Twitter. So Zach, you did a great job. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was great.
I saw that.
Yeah. And to our very own Day One at Pitt Maulers Day One for the amazing graphics he continues to provide us. Thank you, as always. He does an amazing job for us, and we appreciate it. And of course, joining me tonight, as always, is the card washing high roller, Ace. Ace, where can we find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, same handle at pocketaces_USFL. Follow me. I don't just cover the Gamblers, although I cover everything Gamblers. I cover everything else USFL and all breaking news on all teams.
Beautiful. And we have a really special guest tonight, and I want to go ahead and bring him on, introduce him. He is currently with the Pittsburgh Maulers. Day One, I hope you're watching. It is Mr. Trey Tarpley. Let me go ahead and bring him on. Trey, how we doing tonight, man?
Man, we're doing good. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good, man. Really excited to have you on tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. So I wanted to start off, with your roots, your beginnings. You grew up in Pennsylvania. You actually went to Steelers mini camp, and I just wanted to ask, were you a Steelers fan growing up?
Yeah, so around the house, I think it was like cardinal rule to be a Steelers fan. Between my grandmother, my father, my aunts, everybody on my dad's side of the family, super big football fans, and then Steelers it kind of was for the majority of the time in the family. As I got older, though, and I started to find my personal love for the game, I actually fell more in love with players than I did organizations. Being a defensive guy, people, from my area, such as Darrell Revis. I used to play offense when I was younger, like running back. So I was a big Percy Harvin fan, who was down in Florida and obviously went to the Vikings. And then Adrian Peterson. So I just kind of started falling in love with players more than teams. So I've always told people I've never had like a team, but I've always liked individual players for sure.
Well, I like the individual players you said because I am a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan. So I wanted to name my first son Percy for a long time. So I really like that you brought that up. But I wanted to ask, since you did grow up in Pennsylvania, you said your entire family is Steelers fans. How much does it mean to you? Like, are you excited to be on the Pittsburgh team in the USFL?
Yeah, it's a blessing. I appreciate Coach Kirby for giving me the opportunity. I wasn't really sure where I was going to go, to be honest with you. And when I got the call, I was super excited. Obviously, it's always a good feeling to be able to represent your hometown and to be able to have an organization there and play for them is super cool. I had, aunts and uncles that didn't really know what was going on, but they saw the posts that my father and mother were reposting on Facebook and things like that. But, anything with Pittsburgh behind it, of all sports, as most people know, Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, I mean, fans are everywhere. So it's a blessing to be able to represent the city that I grew up in.
Definitely. Going back a little bit, you do really love your hometown, and you coach at your high school. How was that experience, and what did it mean to you, within your football journey?
So you guys did your research. That's cool. Perfect. Nah, I appreciate that. Yeah. It meant a lot to me. Interesting story. I'm sure you guys will ask about, my journey. When I was like a sophomore in college, we had to do internships, and this is all going to make sense in a second. And basically, at first I always wanted to be an agent. Thought it would be cool to be like a sports agent. But then I realized as I got older, I was like, that's not really what I want to do. So when I was just training, in between, waiting for the next opportunity, whatever door that God was going to open, my mom one day was like, you know what? You always talk about how much you love football, but have you ever like considered coaching? And I was like, man, like I know I've always been like an intellectual defensive back when it comes to safety. Like understanding the game and concepts comes pretty easy to me. And I was like, man, maybe I should. So I just rode by the high school one day, and I was just like, yo, what's up, coach? And I was like, what's up? And I was like, hey, like, I'm not really doing anything except for training. Like, do you guys care if I coach? This is probably game 2 of the season. They were already in the season, it was past camp and everything. And coach was like, yeah, sure, you have no problem. So I just started showing up. And then from there, started actually allowed me to coach the defensive backs. And I was like, man, this is something that when I am finished playing ball, it's something I do want to do. I like the aspect of being able to give back, but also still being heavily involved in the game. And I think it's super pure at the high school level. And then obviously I got to go back to my high school, which was pretty cool as well.
Definitely. Speaking of giving back, it's obvious that you do give back to your community, from volunteering with the Special Olympics and Little Sisters of the Poor to reading books to kids at the YMCA of Middle Tennessee. What drives your passion to give back?
I'm very blessed. I grew up with both my parents. I don't like to act like my upbringing was super rough by any means, but I've seen that side from the way both of my parents grew up. And I've always had a heart for that because I have aunts, uncles, and cousins who didn't grow up in the same way that I did and weren't fortunate enough to have some of the opportunities that I was so blessed to be able to have. And I don't know, I think the Lord put it on my heart to make me want to give back, not just monetary wise, but time. I'm really big into mentorship, which is something that I really am continually getting more involved with back in Nashville, like more of like Big Brother programs and things like that. I don't know why, but God just kind of put that on my heart. And that's something that I plan to do now until, for the rest of my life. I just enjoy being able to educate and provide value to young men and women from all walks of life, and be able to give them anything that I've learned or just help them out in any way that they need help.
It's definitely showing. I mean, doing the research alone, it's just like, my God, like everything that you've accomplished in such a young age, as far as giving back, volunteering, and things like that. It's amazing to see. So, hats off to you for that. Absolutely.
I mean, just to plug you a little more, even when you went to Vanderbilt, you still took the time to go and volunteer. You even worked at State Farm as a marketing intern while you worked with the Kidness Revolution, focusing on positivity, kindness. You misspelled it, right?
Yeah, kindness.
Kindness Revolution, focusing on positivity in the greater Nashville area. But with that, I thought, what was your motivation to go to college outside of your home state and go to Vanderbilt?
So I was fortunate enough, obviously, to get a scholarship and everything there. I actually ended up getting that scholarship really late, probably 10 days before National Signing Day. I got Boston College and Vanderbilt in the same day. I was originally going to go to either Temple, Toledo, or Western Michigan. Those are my final 3 options. I wanted to challenge myself, though, outside of I've grown up, and all those schools I just named are kind of in that Northeast region. And I knew going down to Nashville, Tennessee would be a culture shock. Football, in the SEC, this is before, obviously, Clemson went on their little spree, but Alabama's been Alabama, so the SEC's been the SEC. So I was like, hey, I want to challenge myself. My goal is to play in the NFL, and the majority of the guys that are in the NFL that are doing well are coming out of this conference. So I need to go down there and compete. If I can't play with them, I can't play in the league. That was my thought process. Educationally, I was like, it's a win-win. I get to go to a top 15 school academically in the country for free for the minimum of 4 years. Let's go see what happens. And that's kind of how I ended up there. And was like, hey, I'm fortunate enough to go down here, and it changed my life completely. I'm super grateful for it.
Well, I absolutely love to hear, that you did take pride in the academic side, that you did think about your future, that it wasn't just, where can I go play? You it was almost like you had a 5-year plan, which you don't necessarily see in a lot of football players. And I think, when you're talking about mentorship, that's a great lesson for people to learn. But while you were very fortunate, something incredibly misfortunate happened in your last college practice. You tore your ACL, something that I've gone through and I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And I was just wondering if you could take us through that experience, the mindset, and how you were able to persevere through that and get back into football.
Yeah. So, first of all, to anybody who watches this, to you all as well, I have a documentary series on YouTube called "Trust the Seed," which I would, I guess you say, recommend that anybody who's interested in my story going forward watch, because it's going to give you exact excerpts from 2015 up until I get to the NFL, which still hasn't happened, but it will happen. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there, because obviously we won't have enough time to go through everything. But I'm sure if anybody watches and they want to go back through, this will give you exact details. But a quick rundown to answer your question is, obviously it's the last practice of college. Actually interesting, the Lions and the Panthers were at practice too, and they had a list of people, and I was one of the people they came out to see. So I was a little bit excited about that as well. And we got out there. We were doing regular one-on-ones, regularly scheduled, kind of the end of the season. Nobody's really going too hard. We're just trying to play this last game against our rivals. And go out there. The guy runs a 7 route, covering him. I go to jump for the ball because I was about to get an interception. I go to plant. My foot that was supposed to plant goes into the shoelace of the receiver. My leg extends out. All my weight goes to my right leg. Boom, buckles. I was like super. I didn't even know what was going on. They said it looked nasty. I saw it on film later on the next day, and it was pretty disgusting. But so I ended up getting hurt. I was praying to the Lord. I'm like, hopefully this is just hyperextension, this, that, and the third. I've never had a really big injury like that before. Came back toward my ACL. I didn't really know what to do. I spent some time in deep prayer and was like, I got 2 options. I can give it up now and kind of call it quits, because I got at least, 6 to 8 months until I'm 100%. Past, the draft, past the pro day, past everything else. And that would take me into, my rookie year. But I wasn't like a draft pick guy. Like, I just knew that, I was going priority free agent or late round draft pick. And I was fine with that because, by performance, I take accountability for it. So I figured it was going to be a long road if I decided to keep pursuing it. But I remember that just my mindset was, this is something I said I was going to do, and I'm a man of my word. So I got to figure out a way to, remain faithful and make this work. And then the long journey up until now has started. And that was 2018. It's 2022. So it's that, I'm sorry, that's 2017, November of 2017. So it'll be 5 years coming up in November, and we're still not there, but we're getting a lot closer, and we're going to get there eventually. So, the mindset has been the same, remain faithful, keep working every day, regardless of the circumstances that come against me. I just got to take the next step forward. And then my new thing is that, it has to work, or it has to work. Just believe in whatever you're going after and keep pushing.
Definitely. Absolutely. Going forward, adversity kept coming after the injury. Everything being shut down and things like. But I want to know. I'm going to step away from football. When did selling Cutco come into play?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy.
And explain that. Yeah, what that is.
Yeah, I got you. So Cutco is a company owned by what's called Vector Marketing. They typically employ college students in the summertime to basically get money to either pay for school or just have extra change while they're in college. I actually got put on to the opportunity because I was just online. So when COVID happened, basically, I ended up in Nashville. I really wasn't even supposed to be there. I was just going there for the pro day because obviously I got hurt, played in the AAF, then came back. And a lot of teams were asking, hey, what's your 40? Yada, yada. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. So I was training for it, and I went down there. And then literally the week I got there, that's when COVID happened. So I didn't obviously get to do a pro day. And I basically got stuck in Nashville for real. And I was stuck there. I was like, well, I'll get a job while I'm sitting here. But, COVID happened. And then I was online looking for remote jobs and something called Vector Marketing Cutco, and basically just sell knives, to family members and friends. It's pretty chill. It's not, too big. But I started doing that in May 3rd of 2020. and did that for about 3.5 months. So that was a cool experience.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because I actually did it back in the day myself. So I'm
Okay.
like seeing that, I'm like, I gotta ask him. So I wanted to
Right.
see what your outlook was on that. So it was kind of crazy to see that. But thanks,
it was
appreciate
cool.
it.
Well, luckily both of you are past selling knives.
Right.
But then you got back into football with Hub Football, where, you know, your journey got to start again after COVID had shut it down. Everything came to a screeching halt. You get back into it with the Hub Football. What did it feel like to get back, you know, on the road to your goal?
Yeah. So just in the journey, a step that I don't know if you guys are going to bring it up, but before I went to the Hub, I was actually at the Spring League, which kind of pivoted me to get to this. So I was at the Spring League quickly, and that was kind of the first movement that kept me going, because that was in 2020 of the fall. And then I went to the Hub. So to jump to your question about the Hub, yeah, that was a great opportunity. There was some scouts out there, performed really well. Yeah, I mean, we went out there, we did one-on-ones and, some 7-on-7 reps, and there was some teams out there. They said they liked what they saw. It didn't manifest into anything in terms of another opportunity after that, but it was an opportunity for some teams that didn't get to see me before, see me perform, which was good. And, we'll always come back. At least, you're kind of in their scouting report. So when they pull it back up, they have something to refer to.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not a new opportunity came out of it immediately, like you said, it was some tape, it was a scouting report, and it was a step in the right direction, which is great. And the direction that you're going is actually, as you said earlier, you're a man of your word and you had a promise. We read that you had made a promise at your grandmother's grave, not necessarily a promise as much as a declaration that you were going to make it to the NFL someday. And I just wanted to see, like, do you think that the USFL is the perfect next step or just another next step to that goal? Like, what do you think this will do for you?
I personally know that this is going to be the opportunity I need. The platform is there for me to just go out and execute, to get quality film against quality opponents, in a quality league ran by a quality staff and put together, for that opportunity to come for the NFL teams. Any question that they have will get answered while I'm playing. So, like I said, I'm blessed to be here. I'm just taking it day by day. I know that our team is growing every day. We're continually getting better. And I know, our team success will allow everybody's individual success to come to fruition. So as long as we play hard, play together, everything that I want, everything that, my quarterback, linebackers, D-line, O-linemen, wide receivers, cornerbacks, punters, kickers, everybody's goals will be achieved as long as we come together and just perform well. So to be honest with you, I'm blessed to be here, but more importantly, I'm blessed to be able to play with a solid group of men and, continue to pursue our team goal, and that will give us all our individual goals.
You give beautiful answers, by the way.
Yeah, he does. He does, man. I love it. I love it. Son is an old Steelers running back coach. He's now your head coach. When you got that call during the draft?
It's a blessing to always be able to play with a coach that has as much experience as Coach Wilson does. He's had so many great guys in his personal room. He's also been around great minds. He's been on great staffs. He knows how to coach. He understands the game. He respects the game. That's one of his big things he talks about, is respecting the game, respecting your teammates. His process is unique, but I think it fits very well for our team. He brought together a great group of guys who, we all have a very similar mind in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. You can tell the personalities in our team blend really well. And I give all kudos to Coach Wilson because he obviously handpicked us. There's a big pool of guys who put their name into a draft pool to get selected. And to be selected by him individually is a blessing because, like I said, this is a guy that's been around NFL football, and whether or not everybody on the team wants to get there, I'm sure the majority of people do want to get to the NFL. That's probably why they came here. If not, they'll make a great name here. Kudos to anybody's individual goal, but Coach Wilson knows how to succeed at a professional level, at the highest level. And I'm thankful that he's getting the opportunity as a head coach to be able to put that on display because he does know what he's doing and he's prepared to make sure that we execute.
Definitely. I think he's also done the research as well. Sorry.
Right. 100%.
So, Kirby picked you. Like you said, he handpicked you. He got his guys, and now you're at training camp. And so I was wondering, we've been seeing all these videos and stuff, but they're just a little taste of what training camp is like. And I wanted to know, what is a day in the life of Trey Tarpley look like right now at training camp?
Specifically, get up in the morning, do my morning routine that I always do, which just involves, starting out with some breath work in the morning, getting straight into prayer after that, reading the word, then just reviewing the notes, getting some food, and then getting prepared, stretching, prepping my body, going to meetings, and then from there, getting on the bus and going to practice, going through walkthroughs, talking with my teammates, building chemistry, preparing for the day, and then getting into team periods, one-on-ones, individual drills, special teams, which is a huge part of the game. Coming back, going through meetings again, taking care of the body. Actually just got out the cold tub before we hopped on here. So, taking care of your body and just staying prepared. Everybody does realize, we have a shorter time span to prepare for the season. That's not an excuse. That just means we need to be more diligent with our time, make sure we're getting sleep, make sure we're staying on top of it. And I would bear to say everybody's regimen here is probably the same, just because, we are in this condensed space, but people do understand, hey, we got to take care of our bodies. We got 46 guys on the team. 38 or 36 address, one of the two. So we all know we're going to be playing for sure a lot of reps. So, I think everybody's biggest priority is, working on your mind first, being prepared mentally, and then taking care of your body, because it is your job and you have to be able to execute when your number's called.
Well, it sounds like you have incredibly full days, which makes a lot of sense when you had basically 3 weeks from the time that you started training camp to game one, which is so short of a time. How much time during the day, you gave us a rundown, but how much time is specifically spent out on the field?
It just depends. Depends on what Coach Wilson has in store for us. Some days are a little bit longer. Some days are a little bit shorter. It depends on what he has. We have full pads on, just helmets, shells. It depends on what we're trying to accomplish. Some can be an hour and a half. Some can be 2 hours. Some can be an hour and 15. Some can be 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's just up in the air. He has this, to answer your question, he has a strategy set up for us. And everybody on the team is just trusting him. So what he tells us to do, we just go out and do it. Like I said, he's been around the game, so he respects the game and he knows what we need to be able to execute when it's time to get out there. So, however long the practice is, he's going to go to work.
Well, as far as trusting people go, he's a pretty good guy to trust. So I like it. But, we talk so much football that we like to take a break and do a fun recurring segment that we have on our show. It was created by Webb, who couldn't be here tonight, but he is our Breakers representative, and it's called Webb's Rapid Incoming Breakdown. And so I'm going to ask you 4 questions. They're not necessarily football related, and you just answer rapid answers, first thing that comes to your head. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. Question 1. What's the best thing about being in Nashville?
Oh, the connections. I think because I know so many people for being there for a while. And just being able to get and move around with confidence, and knowing a lot of people, knowing where to train, where to eat, different things to see. And then obviously my girlfriend lives there, so I love spending time with her.
Oh, there we go. She gets a little plug. All right.
Yeah, for
sure. Question 2. If they were to make a Trey Tarpley biopic, what actor would play you in it?
Hey, that's great. That's a great question. Oh my goodness. Who would play me? Wow. This is hard.
We get the deep cuts on the show, Trey.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I've never thought about that. Man, I don't know. I do not know off the top of my head. I would have to go with somebody like, but we don't, I guess if we're trying to get the hair and stuff, looks. I don't know. It's a lot. I guess a good actor that I think would do okay is maybe like Keith Powers. I want to say. I don't know. That's probably gonna be my best bet. Him or the guy off of. Nah, I'll just go with Keith Powers. And don't quote me on that in the future. I don't know. If people see this, that
Trey, it's live, so.
I ain't
It's
get
live.
I
Everybody's seeing it.
think about it, but
We throw it in your
face. I will say you put in the most thought to that question of anybody we've ever answered. We asked a few players that one. We try and switch the questions up, but you definitely took the most amount of thought.
I had to think like who's going to be able to reenact and have my mannerisms and be able to. I don't know. You gotta have a lot of emotion. You gotta be funny too. You gotta switch it up. So I guess I go with him off the top of my head. But if I came back, I'd probably give you guys a better answer. But that's cool. We'll work with that for now.
Well, hopefully we can get you back and get that answer. But
sure.
Question 3: most talented player that you have ever lined up against?
Lined up against?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At the time when I was this age, I would go with Pharaoh Cooper, but yeah, because that's based on perspective of the time. Obviously, I'm a different player now, but I would either say Pharaoh Cooper. Yeah, when I played nickel my sophomore year, he'd probably be the best that I've put up against.
All right.
Well,
and
thank you.
Last question.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I thought we were.
One
No,
more.
go.
Who is the fastest player on the Maulers roster, in your opinion?
I don't even know where everybody's 40 is. It's not me. I'm cool with it. I don't need to be fastest. I probably go with. I think I would go with Jalen Sapp. Plays corner, number 24. I think he ran like a 4.2 or 4.3 or something crazy like that. Him or I would probably go with him. I guess I don't know everybody's 40, so and we haven't really had any like true just kickoff reps where we're just running against each other for me to be like, oh yeah, he's definitely the fastest. So I'll go with Jalen off the top of my head, and he's a DB, so I got Sean Love.
All right, so we got a couple answers there that you're going to do a little more research on, and I feel like if we can get you back, we'd get some different answers there, and I'm intrigued to know what they would change to. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for answering those questions and taking the time to actually, think them through. So it's really just, quick answers, but you actually took the time. So that was cool.
I apologize if I took too
long.
No.
The time is all yours, man. This is all for you. So we have all the time in the world. But speaking of Webb, he actually has you as his pick for Defensive Player of the Year. Are the defensive play calling the Maulers are running going to help you prove him right?
I wouldn't say that the play calling is going to help me prove him right. I'll just prove him right through my play. I'm not going to say it's the play calling, but I will say that Coach Horton, our defensive coordinator, is amazing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He puts every player based on their strengths and weaknesses in the best position to succeed. He knows how to put us together. I obviously didn't know most of these guys before I got here, but now seeing everybody and how he wants to set our defense up, he's like put the pieces together like a little mastermind to find out where everybody goes. So, you guys will just have to tune in to see what we got going on with our team.
Oh, we're definitely going to tune in.
It was pitched as old school smash mouth Pittsburgh football. Is that what you're seeing out there?
Oh yeah, 100%. We're gonna play fast. We're gonna be consistent. That's all I can give you for real. We're gonna play fast and be consistent. You just got.
We don't pry too hard. I promise.
No, we don't. We won't. Webb, that's your guy. So he gave you the answer. So I hope you're watching.
But in your opinion, watching the guys out on the field, has anybody stood out to you yet where you're like, man, if I'm not Defensive Player of the Year, like that guy could be?
I mean, I got so many good dudes on our team. I got my boy Terrell Bonds. He plays corner. He's outside. He plays nickel as well. We got Ajeni Harris. I hope I'm saying his name right. I just call him Black. That's his nickname. He number 3. We got Tyson Graham. He's number 8. We got Bryce. He's number 22. We got literally everybody. Like I'm not trying to sound cliche. Like the secondary is great. Then we got our linebackers. We got EJ, Tez, Dale, Blair. I mean, everybody is ballers, and then our front 7 is crazy. So it's a toss up. Honestly, it could be anybody on our defense, in my opinion. Defensive wise, can't really give you too much about the offense because we got guys that do basically everything. But yeah, I say defensive wise, everybody could be a I forget what it was, but the number 1 defensive player of the year, I guess you could call it.
Well, honestly,
this league is very versatile. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And the way that you're describing your teammates, like that's how I would want my teammates to describe, me, where they're not thinking about individuals. It seems like every answer you're thinking about the entire team and as a unit. And that's really good. I love that. So while you didn't give us a specific name, I think the answer showed us a lot about you and just the way that you think. And I love that. But we got a question in the comments from Kelly, who is actually a part of our network. She's our brand ambassador. Okay. And she said, your heart for the Lord is apparent. What does being a servant leader look like for you in the USFL?
I think it's just exemplifying what leadership is. It's not I don't know what everybody else believes, but I speak in faith and I speak my faith out loud. So if somebody's offended, kind of, not to be rude, but don't really care. So I'm gonna tell you what I think. Exactly. In my opinion, the who I believe in is Jesus Christ. So to me, he was the perfect example of a leader. And we don't have to go too deep, but it's not about what he said. Yes, the words that he said were important, but it's about what he did. And I believe being a servant leader is just about what you do and who you are, like who you actually are. Like it's about who you are, meaning being. And then when you become somebody, you'll just do the things that are necessary. So I think it's important for me to be somebody who prioritizes relationships, getting to know the players, right? Like to me, that's important. That goes a long way when you get out on the field because we're all talented. We got the coaches. We all got the skill. It's going to be about who blends the fastest, who plays for each other. That's the team that's going to win this whole thing, especially this year because we don't have a lot of time. And I think being a servant leader is just that, caring about the people you're around, talking to the people who are feeding us food, the trainers, the whole wait staff, having a relationship with them, not just like, okay, cool, can I get some mashed potatoes? Like, actually, hey, how was your day? Okay, what's your name? Okay, yeah, have you been working here for a while? All right, that's cool. Good to see you around. I'm Arnold, or I'm Trey. It's nice to meet you. To me, that's what being a servant leader is because you don't know, what that person's situation is. You also don't know if they look up to you in a way, right? Like a lot of times, some people take this opportunity for granted, like, and I'm just in the USFL, like this isn't the NFL. But it's like, there's people in this city. I've noticed I caught 1 or 2 Ubers already. They're super excited about this, and you could say you're a USFL player and a very like, man, I don't want to be here. And I'm not trying to compare myself, but I'm just trying to give the example of like, in my opinion, I think it's that goes back to you being thankful for where the Lord has put you. If you're thankful for where he put you and you understand who you're supposed to be while you're here, it will just come out. So being a servant leader should be easy when you're in a place of gratitude. And then every time you do something, you're just like, oh, like I'm blessed to be here. How you doing? How's everything going? Helping people out when they need to be helped. And it doesn't have to be crazy stuff. I think people always think about like, community service, and those are great things. Trust me, I'm not taking anything away from that. But I think it's important to just take care of the people that are around you every day, like chefs and the water people, like the whole staff, the training room, the equipment people, even like, why don't you start with them, So that was a little elaborated, but that's what I think personally.
It's good. And making connections throughout your entire life, amazing. Everyone you meet, you don't see that very often from any, not many people. But I mean, it's great to see that, you're making those connections. And it kind of reminds me of like, you have that mindset of a motivational speaker. Speaking of which, wasn't your dad a motivational speaker at one point or still is?
No. That was my mom.
Your mom. I'm so sorry. I got it mixed up.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But
you're on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I mentioned your dad. He's actually a doctor, and he was a former anchor for WPXI TV.
Yeah, my mom. She was an anchor for WPXI there in Pittsburgh, and
I got it mixed up. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're all good. You got the information. You just switched the people. It's all good. But yeah. My mom, she's written a few books. Well, really like 2. Yeah, she's done some speaking engagements, and she was a news anchor as well. So I've kind of been around that for the majority of my life. But yeah,
it definitely
shows. I mean, the way you elaborate on questions, the way you're answering questions, it's great. And we love to see it. I think that you have done a great job of letting people get to know who you are, what you believe in, how you lead. So it's been awesome. But I wanted to get your opinion, your completely honest opinion. How do you feel about the Pittsburgh Maulers jerseys?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't like them at first. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I have no shame in telling that. It's all good. But now that I have them, I actually like them a lot. Like we were given the pants and everything. And I like how they look, how they feel. I was pleasantly shocked. Wearing a practice jersey, I was like, purple. I don't know about that. But as I put it on, I was like, this actually doesn't look bad. I haven't seen the jerseys. I don't know what the game jerseys look like or have worn them. We haven't done photo shoots or anything like that, but I like it. I'm not gonna lie. Grew on me for sure instantly. I guess it was the way it was presented at first, because everybody on the team said the same thing. They were like, and now when we got them, they were like, this isn't bad, So it's not bad. Even some of our opponents were like, yo, I don't like your jerseys, and then they saw practice jerseys, and they were like, okay, the purple's not that bad. It looks a little bit different, so that grew on us a little bit.
Well, when the jerseys did come out and you saw all of them, whenever you did see them, which one did you think was the coolest? We won't tell anybody.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't really like any of them.
Really?
I really didn't. No, I'm serious. I really didn't. I couldn't even tell you that I thought any of them were sweet. Oh, this is a sweet jersey. There were probably some that looked a little bit better, but none of them, in my opinion, were just I really like these. And I think it's just because obviously it's a new league, so it's hard to figure out what colorway is gonna look good, and basic is probably a little bit better in this situation. So anything with just kind of a solid color scheme is good. But yeah, I didn't have any of them that I were like, man, this is the coolest jersey ever. I like this colorway. Just is what it is.
I don't know. Those Gamblers jerseys look pretty clean, but teach their eyes.
Coming from those guys.
Well, that was all the questions that I have. Hype, do you have anything else you want to ask him?
I just wanted to go back and mention in the beginning, you had mentioned your YouTube diaries, and it's called Trust the Seed. I did actually watch up to date pretty much everything you got on there. So anyone watching, definitely go check it out. It's an amazing journey, and it's not finished, of course, because it's continuing. So I recommend it to anyone. Check that out. Went through, the things that I had down. We pretty much covered quite a bit. So I mean, the amount of time that you've given back at such a young age is just incredible. I just wish more people could be like you. Honestly, it's crazy to see how much you've done in such little time. So just comparing, it's a blessing to see. And it's just amazing to see.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to be here. I'm very thankful for the knowledge that the Lord's given me, and the places that He's taken me, and the experiences that He's put me through. It's molded me in a way that I could only imagine. The experiences especially are things that I don't think I could have picked up just by reading a book. And I do really enjoy reading. But, very thankful. And, anybody that watches Trust the Seed going forward, just pay attention to the journey, the dates. Everything is significant. And my thought process is just, hey, everybody talks about a story when they get to the top of the mountain. And it's easy to tell people, hey, I made it, I did this. But it's a lot harder for me to tell you in the middle of the journey when I don't know what the end is or when it will come, but that I'm going to get there. So that when I do get there, and people probably think I'm crazy now. They're like, oh, why are you posting stuff about going to NFL and this, that, and the third? It's like, okay, when I get there, though, and you guys look back, it'll resonate more with people because they'll say, it'll be more relatable. It's hard to relate to somebody. Like, we all love Michael Jordan. We all are like, man, everybody tells a story. Michael Jordan got cut in high school. It's like, all right, but it's Michael Jordan. Like, and it's hard to relate. But if we had a video of Michael Jordan when he got cut in high school, of him crying and him going in there and just throwing shots up for hours, I guarantee you more people would be inspired by his story. Not saying they're not inspired and not taking anything away from Mike at all, but I'm just saying it makes it a little bit more relatable for somebody so that when they're in the midst of their struggle, they can say, man, okay, he went through this and like he was posting these videos. Like you can watch the date, you can look at the time. He was posting these videos before he ever got there. So that's faith. And I think that's what we're all called to do, is to exemplify faith. And somebody can do that by just watching a little, 10-minute YouTube video. If that helps them, help their family out or move into a better financial situation or grow and develop, or get to their dream goal or aspiration, or just push through a tough circumstance and believe a little bit more for some miracle for the Lord to perform, then that's all I want to do. Just, inspire people and allow people to pursue their own individual dreams.
Absolutely. Well said. And the interview, which, all the questions we had asked and you've we usually go ahead, give the floor to you. And it looks like you've just done that. Before we do end, do you want to go ahead and, it can be shout out to anyone or, anything that's on your mind, anything at all that you want to go ahead and say to or whoever might watch this in the future, anything that's on what we do towards the end, we give the platform, the whole show is for you guys, but I mean, we give the individual the platform to say anything like to say, any shout outs, things like that. So the floor is yours, Trey.
I would just say to anybody watching this, to anybody watching now or in the future, whatever that thing is that God put in your heart, that like bugs you, that you haven't achieved it or haven't helped somebody, or I would just tell you to keep going, not in a cliche way, but just write down the thing you desire. Write down from Habakkuk, write the vision, make it plain, right? Write it down on a piece of paper. List out 3 action steps that will help you get to that goal or achieve whatever you're trying to do, or prayer that you have, right? Because faith without works is dead. So whatever you have, whatever you want right now, it could be for you, it could be a goal, it could be for some miracle, for a person to get healed, and write out 3 action steps. That's number 1. And then number 2 is find something that provides value and you'll be happy forever. That's one thing I've learned. We didn't talk about this, but I'll close out with this. While I've been training, I've been doing life insurance, selling life insurance for the past 8 months up until I left. And being around people that are getting ready to pass away or are just interested in getting life insurance or in very tough situations and can't get approved for insurance, and sitting in the houses with individuals that are just like, yo, I just want to get some insurance because if I pass, I just don't want somebody else to be burdened. It changes your mind. I'm 25 years old, and then you sit and talk to 70, 80, 65-year-olds that are on disability, some lost limbs, things like that, and you're able to help them. I love football, but giving value back to people in that way, that's different. And being able to help people out in that way. And that's one thing I learned is if you find something that you do that provides value to other individuals, you'll be happy forever. And I mean pure happiness, not just money and things like that. Like, who cares about the monetary value? Of course, we want to get money and we do want to provide, but those would be the only 2 things. One for the personal goals, and then one for your purpose. Just find something. Anybody that's struggling with purpose, I know I've struggled with it at times in this journey, and I know that's a thing for everybody. Is purpose, and it's like, hey, find something where you provide value, like you guys are doing. You guys provide value by bringing players on here, educating people. That's valuable. People take these. They take my interview, somebody else's interview, and it helps them. Somebody might listen to this and wake up in the morning, go watch Touch the Seed or do something else or somebody else's story, and it may change their life forever. That's value. So find ways to provide value to people, and you'll be happy forever. And write the vision down, make it plain, like the word says, and put some action steps behind it. Don't listen to what anybody else says. Keep going.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much. That was actually, and
I almost feel like people should pay to watch this. Like, you are already a motivational speaker, Trey. That was great. Wow.
We do have one comment that I wanted to throw on the screen from our very own Kelly. She said, "I'd like to make a personal donation to the charity of his choice. Where would he like it to go? Do you have anything particular in mind that you support, or?"
I do. I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna say I do, but I don't know the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I could get back to you on that, I would.
100%.
It's actually that, and that's the Holy Spirit. That's the Lord, because my girlfriend is actually leaving the event. She's been going. I only went one time. I'm not gonna act like I went a bunch, but it was one of those Big Brother mentorship programs in Nashville, and it's always actually on Tuesdays. So I'm getting on the phone with her after this, but I'm going to call her and make sure I get all the details about what it is. I literally just started going right before I left, because a guy at our church was like, "Oh, you should come to this event. You know, your girl told me that you really like, helping out and stuff like that. I just started this." So I would love if, I don't know how we can make that happen connection wise. Maybe we can get off of here. I'll be able to get that information in her hands so she can figure out, how to get it to. His name's Jay, though. I do know the guy's name, and we'll just have to get you his number and the information of the charity and everything.
We can 100%
definitely stay on too as we end the show. Just go ahead and stay on with us. But I'll go ahead and thank Trey, everyone on the tablets, phones, wherever it may be. This was one of my favorites. I know but this was like amazing, inspirational, motivational, all of the above, greatness as far as this interview is concerned. And thank you so much, Trey, for coming on and spreading your words of wisdom at such a young age too. You don't see that at 25 years old. And it sounds like you've been doing this, for a long time. So it's just amazing to see. And, with all the charity work, the giving back to the community. I know you've also went to middle schools and things like that, and spoken to the younger kids and things like that. And you've done so much, and you've given back so much. So we thank you so much for that. We thank you for coming on. And that's all I got. I mean, Ace, you got anything before we end?
Just thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for being genuine and having fun with us.
For sure, man. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you. And I hope everybody has a blessed rest of the night. Anybody watching this, stay blessed and continue to trust in the Lord.
Yeah. Trey, stay on with us as we end the show.
All right.
Well, thank you. So this is Tarpley. You can find him on Twitter at Trey Tarpley, Pittsburgh Maulers. I can't wait to see you on game day. Take care, guys.